doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. I took my own advice that we talked about last week, and I've done some noticing today. And I notice I get really anxious about coming in and meeting with you guys. And as I sort of did a little bit of meditating about it, I feel like you're so smart. Like, doctors and nurses anesthetists. I'm just over here learning how to talk about feelings, right? And you guys, like, I might be on a table someday and look up and be like, oh, hello, remember me? So I thought I really want them to like me.
I'm just telling you, breathe deep.
Yeah, right? Breathe deep.
Yes.
Remember how you told us to breathe? Go ahead, it's your turn.
And we'll
See you
probably
when
be
you
much calmer. Thanks to you.
I'm sorry?
I said we'll probably be much calmer thanks to your strategy.
That's the hope, right? That's the plan. And so I looked over, again, there's really no expectation of you guys at all, but if you have had time and you've looked over that little booklet, the first page I made a little mistake, so I wanted to go back and just say that last week we were really thinking, my intention was to introduce you to this idea of exteroception, which is just a fancy word for like being aware of how your senses interpret your environment, right? Your visual, auditory, your skin sense, your smell, and that you're taking in this information, and often we don't notice how we're interacting with this external environment. So now, this week, is interoception. Has anyone ever interacted with the word interoception? Is that a new one? Not quite as smart as you thought you were, as I thought you were. So interoceptive is just a fancy word for being aware of the internal experience or the internal environment, as it were. So a really good, I think, sometimes we talk about the idea of hangry, right? I'm so hungry, I'm angry. Both of those experiences are interoceptive. So you experience hunger as an internal environmental experience, right? It's not out here somewhere. And angry is also sort of an internal experience. Different for everyone. Some people feel hot anger, some feel cold anger. But some people feel sparks inside, but it's an internal experience. And so we're going to use our practice today to just have a curious interaction with this idea of paying attention to the internal environment. As always, you do not have to do anything. You can kind of sit and take this as 15 minutes of a break, a relaxation. And if anything should come up as we sort of turn our awareness inward, please take care of yourself. So if that means like stopping the experience, by all means. If that means you need to get up and excuse yourself and go for a little walk around this building, by all means, take care of yourself, okay? I'm not watching. Nobody is like writing stuff down, who did this, who didn't. That's really part of the experience, is monitoring how you're doing and taking good care. Alrighty? So for a breathing exercise this week, we're going to do, it's called 3-part breath. And this is experienced in lots of different ways. I like this really simple way of experiencing it. So if you're interested in joining me, we'll take the next 2 or 3 minutes to do that. So, first things first, deciding what you want to do with your eyeballs, right? You could look down at the floor. It just takes a little bit of the visual stimulation down. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, you're invited to do that as well. You might also want to find something across the room that's not moving too much. But the intention here is to bring your focus away from visual stimulation and beginning to turn that intentional focus towards the internal atmosphere, what's going on inside. One way I prompt myself to this is to say to myself, and so you might want to say this to yourself, how you doing in there? And just notice, how are you doing in there? Take a moment to notice the quality of your internal environment. Maybe there's an experience of an abundance of energy. Maybe the exact opposite, an not much energy to be found at all. Maybe there's lots of thoughts. Maybe there's only one thought. Maybe there's a lot of emotion or very little. Anything in between. Just taking this moment to notice yourself. And for a little bit of practice, we'll start with the first of the three-part breath. With your next inhalation, notice how that feels in your nose and mouth as you inhale through your nose and exhale through the mouth. So asking your attention to stay with what's going on with the inhale through your nose and the exhale through your mouth. Just right here in your head, inhale and exhale for the next 3 or 4 breaths. Just keeping that attention as best as you can. Nose and mouth. Now shifting your attention down to your rib cage and chest area, your shoulders, collarbone, through this upper torso. And as you inhale, notice what happens in that area. You might notice some expansion. And then as you exhale, everything sort of settles back to where it was. With your next inhale, notice again a little bit of expansion in this upper torso, chest, rib cage, shoulders. And then what happens as you exhale? And let's stay with that for the next 3 or 4 breaths. And if your attention wanders, just inviting it back to this middle of the body, this upper torso, this expansion, and relax. And then finally, moving your awareness and attention down to your abdomen. And so bringing the breath, that inhale, all the way down into the abdomen, maybe allowing some expansion in the lower part of your torso, down in your abdomen. And then as you exhale, you can either let it be passive, or if you'd like, you can pull your navel towards your spine and really press the air out. That's up to you. Inhale, notice the expansion around the abdomen. And exhale, let it go. And if you'd like, kind of press the air out. So however you'd like to continue, 3 or 4 breaths, just inviting your awareness, your focus, to stay on that lower part of the abdomen. How does that feel? What do you notice? And then bringing your awareness back to the chair that you're sitting in. Taking as full a breath as you'd like, 2 or 3 times, maybe feeling head, chest, and abdomen. And letting it out with a little sigh. Try that 2 more times. Biggest inhale. And one more. Yeah, great. Maybe that brings a smile. Open your eyes. Notice who's across from you. Maybe that was some fun. Great. All right. So just taking a moment to reacclimate what that felt like inside of you. Was that positive? Negative? Neutral? Easy? Difficult? Blah? Right? Just sort of notice what your experience was with that breath and awareness. Was it easy to focus? Was it really difficult? There's no right or wrong, there's no judgment, it's just sort of this opportunity to interact with yourself without any real goal, but to notice. And so we'll do that now with a little bit of movement, all right? So getting tall in the chair if you'd like, just noticing that difference, right? Where were you? And how did that change when you were invited to sit up straight? How's that feel? And we'll do a very similar practice to what we did last week. So starting with a little bit of head movement, just sort of moving over the shoulder, trying each side. Is there tightness? Where is it? What does that mean to you? Maybe changing that to a little side bend with the neck. Yep, that same side's tight. Maybe it's more or less. What do you feel down your back? Maybe you'd like to switch that to looking down and up. You might want to turn that into some circles, up to you. Feel free to make any noises. Sometimes they come unbidden. And then when you're ready, maybe move that into the shoulders. Some circles. Yeah, I see some faces. Right? Ooh. Expect the crunchies. As noises go front and back. Maybe if there's one shoulder that's particularly tight, you give that a little extra attention. Both even it out. Maybe you'd like to raise your arms up over your head. See what that feels like. Extra points if you whack somebody. Maybe spread the fingers. This might induce a yawn. Yeah, feel free to do whatever you like. I see some people going side to side. That could feel really good. Yeah, make it your own. Wiggle your fingers, roll your wrists. And again, pay attention to your experience. What do you feel? Where do you feel like bringing that? Maybe bring the arms down and in. Yeah, and open it. Yeah, extra points for high fives. Don't take it too seriously, folks. It's chair yoga, right? Yeah, a little high five wave. Great. It's spooky season, so we can do my favorite movement. This is called stirring the cauldron. Interact with your inner witch or warlock, as it were, whatever you identify with. A little harder for you guys with the armrests. Nice and easy over here without them. So. All right. If it feels comfortable to bring an ankle up to a knee, this is such a nice stretch. This is a really good one to. If you're starting to feel some low back pain from being so smart, you might. Or leaning over your laptop, right? Getting nice and tall first. And just feeling that. Where do you feel it? What's that interoceptive experience right now? And then if you want to, hinge forward a bit. Relax the shoulders. Take a deep breath here. One of those big 3-part breaths. Woo. helped us. And then come on up, and we'll do that on the other side before we finish. Get tall first. And then whenever you'd like, hinging forward. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And come on back up. Maybe bring your feet off the floor a little bit, make some circles with your ankles. Again, notice, what's that feel like? Wiggle your toes. And place your feet back down on the floor. If you'd like, take this moment to close your eyes and just practice that turning your attention towards the internal experience, the interoception, your internal environment. In whatever way you'd like, give yourself a little gratitude for practicing, for taking some time for self-care, acknowledging that you're worth it. Doesn't take a lot. And maybe practicing 2 more of those big, deep 3-part breaths, inhaling all the way down, sighing it out. One more big, deep inhale. Hope is that in 3 years, there's an article written about how there's all these anesthetists now going in the ORs. Wouldn't that be fun? We don't know what happened. All right, thank you very much for your time, and again, I appreciate your interaction. Take good care. I'll see you next week. All right.